Welcome to this episode of the Gunman. This video is a review and demonstration on the DeVilbiss GTI with the 110 air cap on it. I'm going to be demonstrating on this BMW X6 painted in Vermillion red metallic, paint code A82. So this gun here was the very first spray gun I ever bought back in the year 2000, and it's served me well ever since. The gun has a lightweight, good look to it, and ergonomic feel in the hand. It's a very durable gun and will last a long time. The only real downside I can say about these guns here is the packing gland that comes in behind the head of the spray gun where the fluid needle comes through to the head. There's a little thread with a nut in there, a nut that has a hole in it, which is called the packing gland, and it's got a little bit of plastic in there. That's prone to wearing out a bit over time, and maybe with the thinners sort of softening it up, and it's prone to leaking a bit. Most of the time you can just nip it up, tighten it up, and it will fix the problem, but sometimes we had to replace them. Some guns were worse than others. Sometimes you just got a good one and it would last for years. Sometimes you'd be replacing them every couple of months, and it would be a little bit annoying. But apart from that, they're an extremely good spray gun, high quality. And as you see, this gun's 14 years old and still going strong. This gun actually got sort of pushed to the sidelines for me when I got my GTI Pro, and further on I got the Pro Lite. So this gun just sort of got used as a 1K primer gun, and it also just got used as etch primer guns for a few years, and haven't really used it for painting any colour or clear coat for a long time. But I decided just to do a video for you guys. I'd bring it back out, give it a good clean out, soaked it in the cam cleaner, and started painting a couple more jobs with it, and I was extremely surprised because it sprayed a lot better than what I remembered. Once I started spraying with it, it started bringing back some really good memories and some great cars that I've painted over the years with this gun. My uncle used to own a restoration panel shop, and I painted a lot of his cars for him with this gun. It was, as I mentioned before, the first gun I've ever owned, and I'll never sell it. I think I'd sell my soul before I sell this spray gun. It's just got a bit of a connection to me. And this gun came out in loads of different designs here in Australia. I'm not sure about worldwide, but in Australia it came out in some pretty cool anodized finishes. I think the most common one was just the basic chrome finish on it, but they did have some pretty nice ones similar to this, but just in different colours. So with the paint splatter, but with the purple base instead of the red base you see on this. And I had a multicoloured one, which was just the colours of the rainbow over the whole gun, and they were pretty popular, pretty cool looking gun. But look, as we moved on to the GTI Pro and the GTI Pro Lite, basically the guns did totally change. It was a bit of a big step up from these, and that's why I say before that it sort of just got pushed aside, this gun. Now the Pros and the Pro Lites, the main difference in them is the size of the fan. So in increasing the size of the fan, it enables you to hold the gun a lot closer. Because to get a half decent amount of surface coverage with this gun, you have to hold it back a fair bit. And if you look at the very end, I've actually got a look at all three of the guns, the GTI range. So hang around there and have a look at that if you want. And look, so here we're onto our clear coat. I jacked the pressure up just a touch. So before I had my pressure down at around say 18 to 20 psi. Now I'm running it sort of more between 20 to 22 psi. So fairly similar, but I just like to get it up. I find if you have your pressure too low with your clear coat, it's more prone to running, and it's going to get on a lot more orange peely and thicker. So whereas you want a bit more pressure, it's going to get on a finer atomization and get a flatter finish too. So the fluid needle, I have that wound right out on this gun. I usually used to like to do that, and especially on a car like this, it's the BMW, it's got a quite thick, wet look to it. So yeah, have that fluid wound right out, fan right open as well, and then just get it on real nice. If I was doing sort of more of a Japanese car, I would wind that fluid needle in a little bit. Look, there was a point in my trade, in my time, when I was sort of just turning trades and I was starting to paint a bit more, and I was in Melbourne back then, and it can get pretty cold in Melbourne in winter, and I was just getting runs left, right and centre, and what I ended up finding, I wound that fluid needle in a bit, so wound it right in, sort of 2.5 to 3.5 turns out, just play around with it. Look, I learned to spray with this spray gun, and I learnt to spray by feel as well, so I never used to have regulators on my guns, so if you had have asked me what pressure I sprayed at, I wouldn't have been even able to tell you. I decided to leave this in. There's a bit of troubleshooting now. There's a big bit of sort of dust or something that's just landed in the paintwork halfway through my clear coat. It could have fallen off from the roof of the spray booth or flown off me or something like that. I'm not sure, but either way, I thought I'd leave in the troubleshooting of removing it. So here I am up into the corner of the booth. I'm just grabbing the piece of masking tape here. I'm going to fold it up. There's my Kosan Road Bangkok t-shirt on. Wouldn't I love to be back over there in Thailand? Anyway, yeah, so I'm just flipping over the edge on this bit of masking tape to enable me to try and pick that little bit of dust out. Just turning it into a bit of a toothpick, I guess. Sort of a little paper plane type design. And just one little touch onto it, and sometimes you got to dig around and they just don't want to come out, but this one you can see it came straight out without much fuss, and there it is. It come out. Left with a little bit of a crater there. Thankfully I didn't end up going through to the base coat, so I never, and look, if you were to go through to your base coat, don't just try and put base coat over fresh clear. It's not going to work, trust me. I've tried it before when I had like a mess up happen like that, and it just makes a total mess. So what I did there, I just put a bit more clear over that, so that allows me to build up the depth in that, and then when it was out the back we were able to just denib out that slight crater that we were left with. So 5 minutes in between coats and onto the next coat. I'm just doing a bit of a blend through this fender here. Sometimes I try to plead with my boss. I say, hey, come on, just let me paint the whole panel. He says, no, you're not allowed to do it. That's just a way of life. That you go different places to work and they like you to do different things. I think it's a great sort of skill to have, to be able to do these blends. So you guys see me do a lot of them. I'm not going to go right into detail in it, but that's just a bit of blending. Thinners, AK350 DuPont is what I'm spraying over there, just in the Star minigun. I bought that gun recently. It's a pretty good gun too for a cheap gun. $120 I bought it for. I got it from the local paint supplier here in Perth. Looked after me on the price with it, so it was pretty good. Anyway, back on to finishing off the last coat here. Yeah, so I'm using a 1.4mm fluid needle and tip on this gun, which was the most popular I found in Australia anyway. I think they did have 1.3 mils, but it's sort of, with the, as I was saying before, they've got a very smaller air cap compared to the Pros and the Pro Lights. So, yeah, 1.3 is more common with the Pros and Pro Lights, whereas with the GTI, the original GTI, 1.4 were more common. So that they are a great gun, extremely good looking, feels great in the hand, get awesome finishes with it. So the overall weight of this gun is actually lighter than the GTI Pro, so I think it was 911 grams, and yeah, the other guns were GTI Pro 948 grams, and the GTI Pro Lite was 773 grams. So those weights all include, that's including the air fitting and the regulator. So if you take obviously the air fitting regulator, and I mean that's including the pot as well, so who knows, you might get your PPS pots or your D cups or something like that that may weigh a little bit less, I'm not sure, but either way that's the weights. So yeah, you can see in finishing, it's really got a nice finish. I'll give you guys a good look over the final finish of it too, if you hang around here. As I said before, hang around for another couple of minutes and we've got a good look at all three of those guns. At the very end, we've also got a couple of links to a couple of my other personal favourite videos. I recommend you check them out if you haven't already. Also, check me out on Facebook. There's a link to my Facebook page in the description box of each one of my videos. So, there you go with the gun. Beautiful look to it, pretty nice design. You can see it's done a few miles, that gun there. and I reckon it's still got a few left in it. And we're left with a totally top class finish on that. If you can get a result like that with any gun, well, that's a happy day. Nothing beats the satisfaction of job well done. There you go, that's my new motto. Let me know what you guys think about it. So that blended out quite nicely up there. Got the lads out the back to run the buff over that later on, once it was dried out. This is the car once they're washing it up. You can see that blended out quite nice. You can't see any line through there. BMW X6, pretty nice looking car. Vermillion red, just again for you guys. A82 was the paint code. Colour on that rear bar blended out real nice too. No colour difference there at all. So as I said before, just check the size of the air cap when you're looking at these three guns here. Have a look at the size of the air cap and also the size of the holes on the side of the air cap, so the left and the right. So this gun here, very small diameter of the entire air cap itself, and the holes on the left and right are quite small. As we go into the next gun, you'll see that the entire air cap diameter is much bigger, and the holes on the left and the right are much bigger as well. So the air cap we've got on this one is the T2. You see on the left and the right, they're slightly bigger too. And this gun is pretty similar to the T2. So the T20 is quite similar to the T2. It's basically the equivalent of it. Anyway, check out these links if you haven't already seen them. Check out my channel too. Thanks again for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.